Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. And today I want to talk about how much money somebody would actually need on a yearly basis, and I guess on a monthly basis as well, to live in the top 5 cities in the United States. Because as we will see, almost as important of when you retire is where you retire. And although somebody may have Social Security retirement benefits, this doesn't always cover everything and can leave a lot of additional expenses to be paid for by other things like savings or 401ks or assets. So today, we're going to look at the top 5 cities in the United States. What is their cost of living to be able to live there comfortably, and how much additional money someone would need to kick in if they are living just on Social Security benefits in 2023. Now, this is Michael's Matters, and before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, or hey, if you find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel to grow, and we are so thankful for that. But also because you get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now let's get down to the video. So today, to try to get a handle on how much savings and extra income a retiree would need to have, if any, if they lived in one of these top 5 cities to live comfortably, we're going to look at what is the actual living wage that will be required to live comfortably as published by MIT, that is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in 2023, and compare that to the average Social Security benefits for a single retiree in the United States, as well as someone who is getting the max amount of Social Security benefits available for 2023 as well. And in doing this, we're going to see if either of them can live comfortably at any of these top cities across the country. Finally, then also we will compare the rate of inflation in each of these cities at the local level to how much of a COLA each beneficiary gets each year, and see how much of that is actually eaten up by the local inflation rate at these cities. So first up, starting off today, is going to be the number 5 biggest city in the United States, which is Phoenix, Arizona, which has long been a retirement haven for decades because of the relatively friendly taxes in the state, the warm weather, and the overall quality of living. That being said, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, on their living wage calculator indicated that in order to live in Phoenix, Arizona comfortably, the average person would need to have a yearly income of around $35,481 a year. Now, monthly, that breaks down to $2,956 a month. So if we compare that to what is the average Social Security benefit in the United States for a retiree in the month of July, which is at $1,838 a month, or yearly, that comes out to $22,062 annually. What this means when we're looking at them side by side is that the average single retiree in the United States would need to be able to make up about $13,418 a year of income addition to live comfortably there. Or monthly, that means that $1,118 of income would need to be coming in additionally over, above, and beyond their Social Security to live comfortably. Now, when we look at that same comparison for someone who is lucky enough to be the maximum Social Security benefit recipient per year, which is at $3,627 a month, or $43,524 a year, it would mean that this person with the max benefit actually comes out with $8,042 a year more than what is necessary to live in Phoenix comfortably, or an additional $670 a month. And to put a finer point on this, and to give it a percentage, it would mean that the max Social Security beneficiary would have an income that is 122% of what would be necessary to live comfortably in Phoenix. So it really is a tale of two cities between the average Social Security beneficiary and the max Social Security beneficiary. The last thing I want to mention about Phoenix is that the inflation rate in the area is not too bad, but it's still something which would mean that it would eat into a little bit of the increase that folks get on Social Security through their COLA every year. The local inflation is at 4.3%, which is one of the highest ones actually on this list, which would more than easily be covered by the 8.7% increase that retirees got last year. But of course, it would still mean that they would only be able to keep a smaller portion of that increase. So although the livable cost is relatively low, the inflation is relatively high, just something that someone would want to weigh out. So anyways, that is the number 5 city in the country, Phoenix, Arizona. Next up is a city that has really had a great resurgence in the last couple of years, especially because of the pandemic or after the pandemic, which is the city of Houston, Texas. Always one of the major cities of the United States. It has a definite, unique Texan flair to it, but it's a big city. And sure, you can still see cowboys walking around as well, but you can also get some dim sum late night if that's one of the things you're into. Now, when we look at the numbers for Houston, is probably going to be the most financially livable of the 5 biggest cities on this list for U.S. retirees, primarily because it is more affordable than the others. To start off, the living yearly income that would be needed to live in Houston comfortably is the lowest on the list at $33,216 a year. That breaks down to $2,768 in income a month. So when we compare that to the average Social Security benefit in America, it would mean that monthly, the shortfall that would need to be made up would only be at $929 a month, or yearly, that's a total amount of $11,153 per annum. When we look at the cost for Houston versus the retiree who is getting that max Social Security benefit, the numbers look very, very doable, as the monthly amount that would need to be made up is, well, in fact, it is $0, because they would have $859 more a month in their bank account, or $10,308 more a year than is necessary to live comfortably in Houston. Percentage-wise, that means that max Social Security benefit income would come out to 131% of what the cost to live comfortably in Houston is. So not too bad. In fact, that's quite good for a big city, and really the best you're going to get on this list. The most bang for your buck, if you will. Lastly, and really most impressive, is that Houston has a regional inflation rate that is just at 1.7%, which again is the lowest in the country for these top lists, which would also mean that more of that 8.7% increase in the COLA that retirees got last year will be saved and put back into the pocket. In fact, 7% of that COLA would still stay in the retiree's pocket. So that is Houston, and I think it is the most livable of the 5 cities on this list, of the top cities in the United States, especially for those folks who have the max benefit from retirement, but also folks who have the average retirement benefits. It's not that far off that you could find some extra supplemental income or 401ks or assets or those other things. All right, next is the first of the real quote-unquote iconic American cities. Now, not that Houston and Phoenix are not big American cities, because they are. We see it in the population. But Phoenix and Houston, they just don't feel like big cities. So anyways, this next one is the city of Chicago, which is the largest city in the Midwest, and a place that you will definitely have flown through if you have done any fair amount of flying around this great country. You're going to pass through Chicago. But also, it is probably one of the most affordable of the top 3 cities. So to get into specifics, the average income that would be needed to live comfortably in Chicago, MIT estimates would need to have an income at $36,921 a year, or monthly that breaks down to $3,076 a month. With the current average Social Security benefit, that would mean that a retiree in Chicago would need to be able to make up $1,238 a month in income to cover those costs of living comfortably in Chicago. Yearly, what that breaks down to is $14,658 a year. When we compare that to the cost to the income for the Social Security beneficiary who is getting the max amount of Social Security benefits in 2023, it would mean that that monthly difference in income that the Social Security beneficiary would actually have would have $550 left over in their pockets after all the costs are paid out for that month. Or yearly, that would be an additional $6,602 left over once their living costs are paid out. To put a percentage on that, of course, they are getting smaller as we go up the line, but to put a percentage on that, for the max Social Security benefit rate, it will be that they have an income that is 117.88% over what is the cost to live comfortably in Chicago. So still okay. Finally, for Chicago, when we look at the localized rate of inflation, it is at a very reasonable 2.2%, meaning that 8.7% COLA that folks got last year will still be able to keep 6.5% of it after localized inflation is factored in. So overall, if you would want some Midwestern flair, but also a big city feel and a big lake next to you, Chicago is a good option. All right, now we get into the top 2 cities in the United States, one of which is my personal favorite and the place that I call home, which is Los Angeles, which, by the way, also does not feel like a big city. Just to show I'm not being biased against Phoenix and Houston, Los Angeles is not really one big city. It's just a huge suburb. Either way, if you love sunny weather and the beaches and some of the best tacos you're going to get this side of the Rio Grande, Los Angeles has exactly what you're looking for. but it's not going to be cheap. So when we look at what is the potential cost necessary to live comfortably in Los Angeles, according to MIT, they said that monthly the income would need to be at $3,395 a month, or that comes out to around $40,742 a year. When we compare that to the average Social Security benefit, it doesn't even really come close, in fact, because the average Social Security benefit would leave a gap of $1,556 in the retiree's monthly benefit, $18,679 a year, which is basically a part-time or part-time, full-time kind of job worth of income. When we look at the highest possible Social Security benefit a recipient could possibly get, they do fare a little bit better and still have a couple shekels left in their pocket after all their expenses are paid out. Because with the highest Social Security benefit, they would still have $231 left in their pocket monthly after bills are paid, or $2,781 a year. Percentage-wise, that means that the max Social Security benefit would still be at 106% of what the actual cost to live comfortably in Los Angeles is. And one good thing about Los Angeles is the regional CPI is not that high at 2.7%, which realistically is probably just because the fact that the cost of living is normally so high that inflation doesn't have as big of an effect because, well, the cost of everything is already naturally pretty inflated. But that being said, it would mean that the max Social Security beneficiary would still get to keep 6% of their COLA increase in 2023, which, hey, not too bad. All right, last up for today, and should not be a surprise to anybody, is the city of New York. And it goes by many nicknames. The Big Apple city, so nice they named it twice, and is an interesting historical place that many of those folks who are immigrants to this country, which is everybody, but many of them had family members who at some point either lived or passed through New York via Ellis Island. So whether that's parents or grandparents or even great-grandparents, it's a very interesting place for sure. But one thing is also true about it is that the nation's biggest city, and in most nations, their biggest cities, it is also the most expensive. The average amount of money that MIT calculated a person would need to live comfortably there is at $4,104 a month in income, or yearly, that breaks down to $49,248 a year. When compared with the average Social Security benefit nationwide at $1,838 a month in July, the average Social Security beneficiary would need to have an additional $2,265 a month in income, or $27,185 more a year in some other income to live comfortably in New York. Additionally, for the Social Security beneficiary who is getting the max benefits, and only when we get to New York is the point where this actually happens, is that max benefit actually does not cover the full cost to live comfortably. In fact, the retiree would need to have $477 more a month, or $5,724 more a year above and beyond the max Social Security benefit to live in New York comfortably. Yet ultimately, what this means is that even at the max Social Security benefit, Social Security income would only cover about 88.38% of the cost to live comfortably in New York. Additionally, when we look at the rate of inflation, it is the second highest on this list at 3.2%, which would still leave some of retirees' COLA increase left over by the end of the year, but it's going to be one of the lowest at 5.5%, and the cost is extraordinarily high already. So, New York is a beautiful city and a nice place, but again, not going to be cheap. So overall, looking at these top 5 cities, of course, we see that next to when you retire, where you retire really can have a big effect on how much you need to live comfortably and how far your Social Security benefits will go, whether it is the average benefits or the max benefits. There are really additional advantages to living in big cities that don't come through on charts like these, like access to resources, healthcare, education, and community, and that just can't really be compared in more rural or smaller cities. But there's also a price for that, right? And I think that oftentimes we don't think about the actual dollar amount that comes along with those things. So it is really just a matter of priority and a matter of where your Social Security benefits are as far as how high they are that can really help narrow down where is the best place for someone to choose, especially in these top 5 cities in the United States. All right, now this has been Michael's Matters, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, if you found it interesting, if you found it useful, or hey, if you found it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel to grow, and we are so thankful for that. But also, you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So for Michael's Matters, I'm Michael, hoping that you take care of yourselves, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy day.